Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dean.
Welcome to another episode of the Real DMV, your backstage pass to all things film related in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area.
Matt, I just want to take a second to highlight the talent that we have in the DMV as always. But I know in the beginning of this podcast, we mentioned actors, filmmakers, writers, producers. Can't forget the voiceover actors that make this business what Correct. It is as well. I'm a member of the National Association of Voice Actors. Want to give a shout out to Tim Friedlander and Nava Voices. For any voice actors out there, anybody that want to learn how to get their start, we also want to be a conduit for them as well. I know we haven't done a lot of profiling of voiceover in the industry yet, but we've touched on it in other podcasts.
Yeah, so we had a guest recently that, I think that opened our eyes to that. Like, hey, we need to include that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a whole other topic. There's lots to learn about the gear and what you need, and
well, not just that, but also how voice over acting helps with regular acting too. That there's some bleed Absolutely. Over there. That there's some skills that are transferable.
Right. Transferable skills. You're also acting with your voice, not on camera, so it's a different set of skills. To quote Liam Neeson, the great theologian Liam Neeson. But speaking of voiceover, our next guest knows a little about voiceover. We're going to talk to him about that. Pretty excited about this one. So this one is a multi-award winning actor, right? Multi-award. That's more than one.
Last I checked.
I can't count that high. He's a native of the Washington, D.C. area. He's been on NBC's Law and Order. He's been on Thespian. Thespian was a web series that filmed in Baltimore. And shout out to Mark Unger, who I think is going to be on this podcast here pretty soon. I ended up taking a writing class from him. So markunger.com, if you're interested in taking any writing classes, highly recommend him. This guest has done so much, I can't even mention it. He's got, I think, 13 things upcoming. Lots to talk to him about. You know him, you love him, Mr. Michael J. Patterson.
Hey,
welcome, Michael.
Thanks for having us.
We got to have our studio audience clap you in. Now, Michael, let's begin with this. We'll put you on the spot a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Which one of these is not true? You began acting at the age of 12. You're a student of martial arts. And think hard before you answer this one. I'm the best actor you've ever worked with. Which one of those is not true?
I would say the first two are not true.
The first two are not true. And you heard it here, folks. Heard it here first. Now, of course, I wanted to put you on the spot with that. But you've been acting since you were 12 years old, and you're native of D.C.
Yes.
So start a little about that. Like, where were the seeds sown for acting?
My sixth grade teacher, Miss Friedman, I will never forget her name. She wanted me to audition for the role of the Wiz.
Nice.
It was a theatrical performance in the sixth grade, and I said no. Immediately I was afraid of the stage. I went on ahead and did it, and I got the role of the Wiz, which is one of the hardest roles in that play. Because
yeah, that's
there's a lot of monologue. There's a lot of interaction with all of the characters, and
it's the main character, right?
Yeah, well, one of the main characters, of course, but he's the one that interacts with everyone else that's of the main cast. And I did a good job. Got a standing ovation, and I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's how it happened. And I was a thespian in high school. I went to college. I did a lot of theatrical performances because I have a stage, a background, and I was hooked. I tried the Hollywood thing in my 20s. I failed miserably. Family, life, which life be lifing. And in my 30s, I was told to do it again. And I said, no, I'm too old.
But you made the actor's journey out to Hollywood?
Yeah.
And you did all that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Got my, the tail between my legs, I don't want to do this anymore. I got my butt whipped and everything. I got into the IT career and taking care of my kids. And then after that, someone said, you should try it again. And I said, why not? I did it, and here I am.
So you moved to Hollywood?
Well, I went back and forth to Hollywood.
Okay.
I ran track professionally. So the Mount Sac Relays, I don't know if you ever heard of those. So the Mount Sac Relays, I had talked to an agent out there, did some auditions, failed. They wanted me to be the prototype of this type of actor, typecast.
Okay.
And I said no. And I went back home.
Good for you.
After that, I thought it was over. And in my mid-30s, hey, why don't you audition for this short film, Cut My Hair Barber? And I did that, and the rest is history. I also did a, what is it called? A fully immersed 360, where they have this ball with all the cameras, and you can see everything 360. It was fully immersed. And I did that, and I was hooked after that. It was like basically a stage play. You had to know all of your lines through it all because all the cameras on you. There was no cut. If it was a cut, it was a cut for the whole entire take. So it helped me with my theatrical background to just memorize my lines and know how to do that. And I did that short film. It was an action film, by the way. We were basically taking on the names of artists. Banksy was my name. And it did okay. It was like the world's first virtual 360 fully immersed short film. And like I said, I went to do Cut My Hair Barber and then other films after that. And I just kept auditioning and landing roles. Some I didn't, some I did. And here I am.
That's a lot of pressure on one contiguous take.
Yeah, that's a little, like theater.
It's theater. Yeah. So I thank God for my theatrical background.
It would be terrible for my memory.
So you're doing this full time then?
I am. I have been doing this full time for the last 5 years. I was laid off after the pandemic in IT. I was doing what do they call managed services?
Yep.
MSP. 24/7, 365.
That's right.
Rotation on the call, stuff like that. And pandemic happened. They couldn't afford me anymore, and I'm like, oh my God, 3.5 months of depression. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I did another short film where I played against myself. It was an action proof of concept sci-fi film. And I think you may have seen that on my Instagram.
Yeah.
But that got the ball rolling again. They liked what they saw, and I started auditioning again, and I started landing roles right after one after the other.
No surprise.
Yeah.
No surprise.
But you bet on you.
Yes.
It's a good bet.
Took a chance.
Yeah.
So we had Suzanne Neff in here the other day. And of course, Suzanne being, if anybody can see this, Michael's right here. And then Suzanne is right next to him.
Yeah, and there's somebody else taking up a lot of headroom up there, and that's you.
We don't have
But that's
to talk
Fair
about
Rain,
that.
and Fair Rain's coming out March 9th is the premiere?
March 9th is the premiere, yeah. And that'll be my first go at a premiere for anything that I've been in. So that'll be, I had to miss the last one because I was, it's a good thing to have, but I was working on something else, so I had to miss the last one.
And this is where you two met.
Correct?
No, it's not. Okay.
As a matter of fact, that's what I was getting ready to get into because Suzanne, we talk a lot about mentors and somebody that can probably...
Go ahead and push the rudely interrupted button. Got it.
We talk a lot about mentors. And I was mentioning to Suzanne that she was kind of my guru, my kind of go-to when I first got into this. When we first met, the same coach that we have used a few times before and done, some releases with her. But I met you one night, I think the same night that I met Suzanne. Suzanne just happens to live a mile up the road from me, so we'd run into each other at the grocery store. But I remember hearing that you guys had the same agent in Atlanta at some point, and maybe still.
Well, it was in Orlando. And then now it's LA. She moved from, she's bi-coastal from Orlando to LA. Jean.
Well, I support her.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I was just fascinated. So anytime I thought of questions, I wanted to hit you up at the same time I hit up Suzanne, but I didn't know you as well as Suzanne at the time. And I thought, he doesn't want me hitting him up. Like, he's getting it done. He doesn't have time for this guy over here.
Man, come on.
And that is not the case. When I started working with Michael, that was definitely not the case. Very down to earth, very accommodating, very nice, and very helpful. And he's answered a bunch of my questions since. So it just goes to show that when when you do the networking thing in this community, it pays off.
Yes, pay it forward. You pass the baton.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for the youth, I'm an advocate for the youth. I want to make sure that I give them my best because I want them to be better than I am. They have the resources that I didn't have, and so that's what I believe in. And new actors, older actors, younger actors, it doesn't matter. I want this craft to be realized in their life that it was given to them. They have the talent, so let's help them. And that's what I believe.
Absolutely.
And that gets to defining success we've talked about in previous podcasts. And so how do you, everybody defines it differently in this industry. For some it's, I got a call back. Mm-hmm. For some it's, I got an opportunity to even do an audition.
Yeah.
So what's your definition of success?
I would say the second mention of having a callback or just having an audition, that's work.
Yeah.
When you get an audition, like that's work. It's
an acknowledgement.
It's an acknowledgement, and it moves you forward thinking, of other possibilities. The one thing you can't do is think about the audition after you've done it.
We've talked about that.
You cannot do that because it will drive you insane.
Right. I submitted it an hour ago.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
So, no, they haven't downloaded WeTransfer in 3 days. So they'll get to you.
They will get to you, and they're going to look at maybe 6 to 20 seconds of it and move on, unless you capture their eye. And that's an amazing thing. And it's an amazing thing when you get a call back. It's also an amazing thing when you have someone contact you. CDs don't have that time, but they'll reach out to you and say, we loved your audition, but we went with another, but we're going to keep you in mind. They really mean that. And it's happened to me before. I've had success that way, so.
Where they've said no to this one, but they did follow up for something
else.
Different. See, that's great.
Or they'll follow up for another big audition, and they will see you, but you don't get the role. You're still working, and you're like, you get frustrated.
Yeah.
But people are looking at you. People are rooting for you. CDs are rooting for you. It's not a legend. It's not a fairy tale. They really, really want to see you work.
Casting directors, CDs.
Yes, casting directors.
Have you had a lot of, I did an audition for one role, but they said, I think you're better for this one instead.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing the antagonist when I want to be the good guy, so it's better to actually have more bad guy roles than it is good guy roles, by the way. But that's happened to me a number of times. They're like, hey, what about if you try this role? And I'm like, I really want that other. Okay. As long as I'm part of the project and you land the role.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? Okay, this is cool. And then you bring it and you're most memorable in those type of roles where you figure you weren't right for that role, but they thought you were right for that role. And then you find out that you're the most memorable of the cast because they selected you. They know what they're doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not always about what you aren't or what you haven't done or what was wrong with that audition. They might look at you and go, oh, wait, I've got this other part that they would be perfect for.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you're exactly right. They know what they're doing. One of the things that you recently did that we'll get into was Law and Order.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that one?
Very fast
so proud.
paced.
Yeah, I would imagine they're a well-oiled machine at this point.
Very well-oiled machine. You come there, you must know your lines, or you will find out very quickly. But they're amazing. They're so like you said, a well-oiled machine. They know the business, and they help you, and they rally around you. So first couple of takes were great. The guy and I forgot his name, forgive me. But we went back and forth, through rehearsal, and then we went through some takes. And then you got the A cam, B cam, and then you have all the other cams, the big, huge RE or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. They're walking fast with us, And then we go back and they're okay, faster. Okay, slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. Faster. And then you're like, whoa. And then when you look at the takes, because they'll let you see that too. And you're like, man, they're geniuses. And so I do forget, I think it's Robert. That was my that was the executive producer on that show. I do know it's Dick Wolf, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Shout out to Roger?
Robert. Yes.
Robert and Dick Wolf.
Yes. So amazing guys, shook hands. We'd like to see you again soon. And, I'm holding that to heart, like, okay, I want to be on this again, and it was just an amazing experience. I learned, you're always learning as an actor. Yeah. So I learned something new,
But you've been on them more than once, right?
With Law and Order?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, this is my first time, actually, but I've done a lot of TV auditions. Yes, I just, I can say it now because I didn't get the role, but I auditioned for Night Agent before.
Oh yeah.
Big good one.
Yeah, and that's something I would love to be on.
Yeah. So I do have a question about Law and Order because we talked about this a little bit backstage. Because you're DC based in the DMV area, and that's a New York production.
Yes.
Right. What are some of the nuances of applying to a role where it says you need to be a local actor?
Well, you do your slate. Hi, I'm Michael J. Patterson. I'm 5'10". I live in the Washington, D.C. area, but I can also be local hire. Or, hi, I'm Michael J. Patterson. I'm 5'10", and I'm local hire. And that's what you do.
And you leave it at that.
And you leave it alone
Right.
because, you want the role. You're going to make sure that you're available.
Well, and ultimately, the casting director they need to cover their butt
Yes.
on who they're hiring.
Yes.
And sometimes saying more or saying less is, you just keep it to what
That is
they ask
true.
for. Right.
Yes.
So, but you're not lying. You're not doing anything wrong.
Mhm.
Right. It's just a matter of, doing what you got to do to get the role.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff we have to go after is outside of this area. So,
yes.
Where was that a word perfect kind of thing? Or are the words are on the page and there's no improv on
for the slate?
set? Oh, on the set of Law and Order?
Oh, is it? No, they do want you to stick to script.
Word perfect.
They are very
Procedural.
serious about that because it's every word meaning a meaning point. You ever heard of a meaning point? When you learn your lines, it's a meaning point because of something that's going to be stated, later or earlier in the episode. So it has to be precise. You can improv sometimes, long as it's in context, but most of the time you have to stick to script.
Now, how many times did they have to rehearse the fight scene? Did they do that while you guys were doing your lines, or was it kind of put in there afterwards?
Well, I would say yes and no. They did the fight scene while we were rehearsing our lines or going through, or sometimes they would say, okay, let's just go ahead and capture it. We like that. You keep the energy. And all of a sudden they would shoot it and then, it depends. But, we did do rehearsals. We did a lot of rehearsals because sometimes it got out of control. So, because they want to show that they can be aggressive or whatever. But it was just, a lot of it was rehearsed and a lot of it was, especially when you did the punch-in shots. The punch-in shots, then they really wanted to, they wanted the actors to show the aggressiveness because it's up front and center. But it's a yes and no thing. It's rehearsed and unrehearsed. You just let it go, or you rehearse it because you want to make sure that it looks controlled or organized confusion, basically.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And did the casting directors want, obviously, a resume, the headshots? Were they looking for anything in particular? Did you go through your agent for that?
I went through my agent.
Okay.
Shout out to Maltzby Talent. They are from North Carolina, but they have also an office in New York.
Maltzby?
Maltzby Talent.
Maltzby
Yes.
Talent.
Yes.
I had to say it 3 times because I wanted to.
I mess it up
Maltzby,
sometimes
Maltzby.
too. Yeah, but a shout out to them. I did the audition. I'm like, hey, this is great. I didn't think I was going to get it.
Self-tape?
Yeah, self-tape video. And I sent it. I was like, okay, great. And shout out to my mother because she helps me with some of my self-tapes. And the next week, hey, you got the role. What?
Wow.
So it was just no callback, no nothing. It was just kind of, hey, you're the guy?
Yes, I'm the guy. Like no callback or nothing. And
that's great.
And then to hear the director say, "We'd like to have you back." You're waiting for that, I played. Oh my goodness, I forgot the guy's name already. My character,
Professor.
Professor. Yes, I'm just gonna say Professor Delano. That's his name. And I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I forgot.
You were saying that I am the best actor. You have the best worst actor you've ever worked with.
I never heard him say anything like that.
Nothing at all.
That's what I heard. It was the director wanted to have you back to.
Yes, so that's what it was, and so I think that it's a possibility this year that I could come back
As a whole different, or in the same arc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unofficial.
Got it.
But they would like to have me back, and it was an amazing experience.
I've actually seen them have the same actors back to play different roles years apart too. So I guess anything's possible.
Yeah.
But when you're doing the self-tape for something like that and you get the sides, are you looking at the lighting? Are you concentrating on the sound? What's your preparation process for a self-tape like that?
For a self-tape, it's being in character as best as possible, envisioning what I see, which could be totally different from what they're seeing, but they want to see what you can do with these words.
So you're using your environment.
My environment and my imagination. We're playing pretend as a profession. At the end of the day, you're playing pretend. So, from the classes that Cheryl, as well as the other acting coaches I've had, you're playing pretend. Imagine, may it be Meisner, may it be method acting, whatever. And you just go ham in, and you do a couple of takes, where it's extreme or it's just what they want to see, because you have 6 to 20 seconds of them to see your audition. You want to give them your best, your first take and your second take, maybe your third if they want that or whatever. But it's, that's what I prepare for. The lighting has to be, of course, excellent, or they're just going to be like, next.
Yeah.
So you have to have that. They want to make sure that the sound is good. So those are important elements.
But you make a choice. You make a choice about what that character might, and it may be the wrong choice for that. But do you send in maybe two?
Yeah,
two completely different types of choices.
I do at times,
Okay.
And sometimes I'll send in the wrong choice just to see, because you don't know what's going on in the episode or the movie or feature film, whatever. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, this is a really big movie. They're not going to select me. I'll just say that. That's just me. I don't want anyone to think like that. But I'm just going to give them my best of what I think, and I'm just going to go ahead and go ham with it. And sometimes I get the role when I don't even think that I'm going to get the role.
Sometimes you get. I've done that and said, you know what? That's not this. I don't think this is what they're looking for. I'm never going to get it. And they liked it, and I ended up booking it. And I'm going, okay, well, you can trust your intuition, but so much. Yeah. But sometimes the things that are out of your hands are exactly what they want for that character, what they see. Maybe you have a different viewpoint of what that character is supposed to be doing.
You're human.
You're human. Exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is that you want to pay attention to the details that they specifically want you to do. Meaning when it comes to the lighting, when it comes to the sound, when it comes to the presentation of your slate, the way that you word your audition when you send it in through Actors Access or whichever. Those are the things they're paying attention to, because they want to make sure that you're able to pay attention to that on set. Right.
Or you're
it's a business. Or you're a professional. You could be the most talented and not be selected because you weren't paying attention to details. Right. CDs don't have a lot of time. Casting directors don't have a lot of time. So they want you to win, and they want to see something amazing. They want to see that, oh, okay, he's got these takes in order with the right naming convention. Great. Let's look at it. I got 5 more minutes. They look at it and, oh, I like that. Give them a call back. Oh, even better. And it's even better when they give you instructions to say, I want you to do this and I want you to do that after the call back or after the initial audition. Yeah. I'm like, I just want you to,
a
little bit more of this. And I just want to see. And you're like, yo, I'm about to get this thing. and it happens. And sometimes you don't, but many a times you're going to get the role when they give you those details. And that's a rare request from a casting director.
Well, we hear that a lot, though. They want you to be successful. Exactly. They want you to succeed. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to make you fail. That's not their job. Yeah. They're just trying to find the best person for that role.
Absolutely.
Right? So
there's been times that I've gone for a particular role and I haven't gotten it. Mm-hmm. And just you're putting yourself out there. You don't hear anything about that particular role, but the next time they come around with a project, they're hitting you up and going, hey, can you audition for this?
Yes.
Or even better, at least once I've gotten no audition needed because we saw your last one. You're perfect for this role. So
yes.
Can you talk to any of that happening for you and a time where you were just kind of not expecting something and you ended up getting a phone call?
Um,
I'm putting you on the spot.
yeah,
but-
you are. I'm thinking about that. I think after, like I said, when I got laid off from my IT job and I did the short film, they saw something in that and they asked for me to audition for it. And I did, and I didn't land the role, but I landed another role in another production by the same director. And it was Imposter Pastor.
Ah, gotcha.
So from there, from Imposter Pastor, while I shot my last scene, I got a call to do another film. And that was called, oh my goodness.
Not
forgive me.
undefiled.
No, it wasn't Undefiled, but that was one of them. It was, so sorry. It's not that I have many projects, but it's just that sometimes you forget your projects.
Oh, he
You do a
does.
ton. Yeah.
Yeah. So it did happen.
modest.
And I'm like, it started just, and then it's your presentation. It's the way you present yourself on set. You can do the best job as an actor, but they're going to remember you by how you present yourself on set after it's all said and done. And I started getting requests to be in films without auditioning. So I've had a lot of that as well. They're like, hey, we would like you to play this role.
That's a huge.
And I'm like,
nod.
yes, I can't wait for the audition. Send me the sides. No, Mike, we want you to play the role. And it's not you being overly modest or anything. You're just like really thinking you're going to do the audition. And no, they want you for the role. And that happens, it's been happening for me, for the last 3 years. And I'm just grateful. And I work hard, and you present yourself, you present your business like, okay, that you're reliable, that you're going to achieve what they see in you. And you do it. And when you do it, they're talking to other casting directors. It's a small network of actors and casting directors, production, film crew. It's a small community. Even though we're everywhere, it's still a small community. They will remember you.
Yeah.
And so it's like the web. Hey, you remember this Michael guy? Do you remember this Dean guy? And
We've talked about that before too. Just the world is small, the industry is smaller, word gets around.
yes.
But going back to, I saw this for you and I want you to be in this. That kind of happened with Fair Rain and JCL Productions, where the director-writer, Cynthia Cherry, shout out to her.
Yes.
She said that she had this part for me, and she says, I had you in mind for this part. And we were talking about playing the bad guy. We had you in mind for this part. I'm not playing a nice guy in this thing, and I'm not exactly sure what Cynthia's trying to say. We had you in mind for this part, and this guy's a pretty bad guy, but I was honored. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen some of the scenes actually with you in it, and I can't wait to see the full movie because you really embodied that character. So I can't wait.
I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Michael.
You
but,
did really well. You did really well.
You are a terrible guy. You embody this character. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the same goes here.
Well, you always learn a lot behind the camera and on set. Do you supplement your experience with formal training? You have an acting coach?
Do I have an acting coach? Yes. My mother, she's a director and a playwright. Cheryl Felicia Rhodes.
Shout out to Cheryl.
Love you, Cheryl. And let's see, who else? I've gone to New York and done, some, I can't even remember the coaches, but I've done some workshops to learn how to audition, to learn how to audition, to speak, to know the business, all of that.
Yeah.
So I've done that. But I would say Cheryl and my mother are my acting coaches, and they've helped me tremendously. While at the same time, different directors have poured into me on how I should, go as an actor, and it's helped.
What's your biggest challenge when you're on set? I mean, finding stillness or?
Biggest challenge is not to be so hard on myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my biggest challenge. I'm ready. I can't eat. I'm not hungry. I'm just ready to rock and roll, and I'm constantly, just saying, Mike, don't mess up. That's
Self-editing.
yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
And so that is my kryptonite, that I, at some point, I'm ready to go. I'm just full steam ahead. But when I get on set for like when it's the first day of a major, of the project or whatever, it's like, okay, Mike, you can do this. Don't be so hard on yourself. And I think all actors deal with that at one point in time, especially when you're going to have those takes where that one monologue or those lines you just can't get right at all. It feels like it's a bad day until you see the scene and you're like, okay, I tripped on that line, but it's really good. We are our own worst critics.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to ask you a question that I know is on the forefront of everyone's minds. Mm-hmm. What do you like at craft services?
What do I like? The Snickers.
Granola, the Snickers.
You're making me hungry now.
The Snickers.
We've been talking about craft services the last couple of interviews and how some can be really, really good. I don't think I've had any bad craft services, but I tend to look forward to that.
But when they have a Snickers bar in there, I'm like, yes, because it's a meal in one. Like, you can't eat but so much.
Well, you're not you when you're hangry,
Right.
So
shout out to Snickers.
Shout out to Snickers if you would like to be a sponsor. We can find a place for you. You have an extensive IMDb. I mean, I don't even know where to start. One of the things I saw in there was, and I have the feeling you've been a background actor as well.
Uh-huh.
So I saw Hunger Games is on there.
Yes.
And it looked like that was a background credit.
Well, it wasn't. I want to make sure if I can say it or not, but I did some extra shooting where I thought it was going to show up on the film and it never did. Like none of my work showed up. I took my kids to see it and they're like, oh, we get to see Dad. And then the movie ended and they gave me the side eye. So yeah.
Well, but actually that's good though. Cause we've also brought that up in that you can do these parts on these films or on sets and whatever, and you tell all your friends about it and your family because, oh my gosh, this is something I'm proud of.
Yes.
And then it gets on the cutting room floor.
The edit floor.
Yeah. So, I mean, that can happen. And for a new actor, that can be devastating because maybe their first gig, I know for my first gig, very excited. And I was looking forward to seeing it. And then you blink and you miss me.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
Now you are union, right?
I am non-union.
You're not
SAG eligible.
You're SAG eligible. Okay, yes. That's kind of a sweet spot, and we talk about that a lot, right?
Yes, it is.
So you can milk that for a while, sometimes.
Yeah, and I've done it for 12 years.
All right,
as SAG eligible. And Law and Order was like, "Hey, congratulations, you must join."
Oh, that was the death knell for you.
That was the tipping point.
So now you're at that place where you have to make that. You had to pull the trigger.
Yes,
at some point. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm at that place.
All right. Undefiled 2024 Best Supporting Actor.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel?
How'd that come about? A tremendous experience. I didn't think I was going to win. I was just elated to be a part of a group of really good actors in that category. I went up against some A-listers, former A-listers that, they do different films now. They're not doing the Hollywood big films anymore. And they called my name.
Oh, so did you even know you were nominated?
I knew I was nominated.
Okay,
got it. I'm like, yeah, I'm up there with those guys. And they said, Michael J. Patterson. Whoa. I said, stood up, just looked around. And then my director was like, get up there, Michael, and I walked up there and
then they said, no, it's another Michael J. Patterson.
Yeah. Your kids gave you the side eye on that one? No. They were proud of you, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Great.
It's good to win those, but it also humbles you at the same time. It means that, okay, you've got to be even a better actor because you're still learning. So the journey and the experience of that character that I portrayed, and then to win an award, I remember the trials and tribulations that I went through to, make this character come to life. So in my next film or next character, I'm like, okay, these are the things that I will avoid so that I can be even better, I guess. But at the end of the day, awards and everything don't really mean anything to me, but they do at the same time for your career. But personally, it's like, okay, great, let's move on. don't just sit there. You made the jump shot and you're still sitting there like, I made a great jump shot. You gotta move.
That's right.
It's time to, become better. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What is your preparation for? Do you have the same preparation for every role, or is it just case dependent?
It's case dependent. It depends on how I feel when I get on set. I do my due diligence of studying, attacking the character 3 different ways. Cheryl has put that in us. Someone you like, someone you don't like, someone is neutral. I always use that to this day for my characters. And our directors will let you know, oh, I don't like that direction you're going. Let's do this. And I'm like, okay. And voila, I don't know what it is. I have a really good imagination. All actors have a really good imagination. So when someone tells me something, I just know how to understand and go the direction that is being told. That's the best I can tell.
Follow direction.
Yeah, follow direction.
Yeah.
I'm a director's actor. At the same time, I can, they can say, Mike, let loose. And I can do that too. So it's just something, ever since I was 12, I just knew how to do those things.
You're rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have come up against some things where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if you all had that as an actor.
Every day as an actor in my full-time gig. Yes.
I don't even know how I got here.
I'm not really sure what we're doing.
Why did you hire me? Because I'm not feeling this at all. I'm not doing, and then it's just you. You're your own worst enemy. And so you just prepare, get on set, be ready to work, and be ready to listen. Do a lot of listening and less talking when it comes to, because this is a teamwork. They want you to win. Your director, the film, the crew, all of them. They're waiting for you to just do some amazing things, and that's why they hired you. So just do it.
It's that active listening that we probably don't hear enough about, or maybe even talk enough about. Yeah. But you have to listen to the other actor. It's not enough to basically have you say your line.
Well, you're reacting, not acting.
Exactly.
Yes, reacting. That's a very important. I'm so glad you brought that up. A lot of your cast members are going to make you better because you're listening to them. They're listening to you. It's a teamwork. Just because you're the lead or strong supporting lead or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's about listening. It's about understanding the direction and understanding the director, understanding the story, knowing the story.
So when you say you're a director's actor, I mean, really, it's all those things packaged together. It's the listening piece. It's
you got to listen.
The taking direction piece. It's all that stuff.
It's never about you.
Yeah.
It's about the story.
And that gets back to the reputation. Like that's the reputation that you build for yourself as an actor, right?
Yes.
So I mean, if you become known as the guy who's not the actor's director, director's actor, that's not a good thing.
It's not, and it's a very small community, and they will remember you, and can't do that.
Yeah. Where people do talk.
Yes.
And especially talking about casting directors. Mm-hmm. Know each other. Other actors know each other. Everybody's heard horror stories, so always good to not burn your bridges either.
That is correct. Do not burn your bridges.
So what is next for you?
Well, what's next for me? I just finished performing a character down in Alabama called Amazing Grace. And it's a biopic about a couple that went through a lot of trials and tribulations. And they had been called by God to do something. And they were the least, they didn't think that they were the people to do it, like us. Mm. And so I'm trying not to give away anything, but so I played the lead guy in that. And we did a VSL, which is a video sales letter, so that we're able to get funding for the picture. And that's what I can only say right now so far. But it's a major, it would be a major role for me. I hope it works because I'm looking forward to it. And that's about that.
And you're done filming?
Well, no. I have some other filming coming up as well.
I mean for that piece.
For that piece. Yes, I'm done. I'm so sorry about that. Yes. But I have some, I have premieres that are coming up. Fair Rain premiere with my buddy Dean, and Suzanne. Suzanne, you're an amazing actress, by the way. Love you.
Yep.
Like, you're really, really good. Everyone on that film is very good, but Susan, I just want to tell you, flowers to you. But yeah, I have some premieres coming up. I have The Shop, which is a short film based on barbershop talk. And we speak about politics, gossip, everything that you do in a barbershop, basically. And that is something that we're trying to shop around as well. And I have some other films that are coming out that I can't speak about right now.
You have a lot of things happening for you. Yeah.
So because you have done so much and you have so much kind of, I wouldn't say being thrown at you, but you did mention that, you're getting to the point now where some things are, you don't have to do the audition for. Yeah. What is your threshold for saying no?
Good question. To have the ability to say no.
Yeah.
You put me on the spot with that one. You have to have the guts to say no. All roles are not going to be meant for you.
Right.
And it's not that you think that you're better than the production. It's just that that it doesn't fit you, and you have to say no. You can't, and don't be concerned about, will I work again after that? It's just, there's things that you will do and there's things that you won't do. Yeah. So you have to say no.
It's not always about the money or
it's not always
the distance.
About the money.
It's just could be the project or the character or you may have too much on your plate already.
That's another, you may have a project down the line in June or July and they want you to do something in February and they're like thinking, hey, well, you got plenty of time. But sometimes the character that you're building can take all the way till the day of in June. You don't want to be occupied with anything else but that character. You're just focused on that one character. And, sometimes you may have to go ahead and get a 9-to-5 job so that you're able to pay your bills until that time comes where you're getting ready to play, hey, bye-bye. Thank you for letting me work with you, but I got to go. I got a movie to do. Sometimes that happens. I've done that. Say it's okay to say no, but make sure that you say it professionally. With the intent that, I'm going a different direction,
I think most production outfits and casting directors would understand that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, Michael, where can people find you? If somebody wants to if there's a casting director, a director, a writer, anybody that wants to try to find you, social media wise, email wise, how would we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at actor_Michael J. Patterson. That again is actor_Michael J. Patterson. I'm on Facebook as Michael J. Patterson. Very boring name. Sorry, guys. And you can find me, if you want to email me, it's book, michaeljpatterson@gmail.com.
Fantastic. We're going to put all of that in the description. Michael J. Patterson, fantastic to see you, man. Listen, we're going to see you again March 9th.
Yes, sir.
Right?
You will.
So we're going to have a fun time that night. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Matt may be there as well. So
Hope
you like it. But we're going to do another episode with you, hopefully in the near future. Get you back on. So much to talk about, way more than we have time for. But if you found this helpful whatsoever, feel free to share this with anybody you think might find this helpful. Like, subscribe, find us on the socials, listen to us on Spotify, and Matt, unless you have anything else, we'll see you soon.
That's it. That's a wrap.